Where are you from? California.
That's why you have an American accent. Go ahead.
I watch your videos all the time.
Okay.
So, you might not know the answers out of it.
Yeah.
So during Ramadan, it said that people are released from the hellfire. Correct?
Okay.
So does that mean people are already in the hellfire?
Can you show me the narration? You have the Arabic there, right?
Sorry, that's something different that I wanted to ask.
Do you have the narration you're referring to?
I don't.
Because when you say released, it doesn't say released. Because the narration does not say released.
Exactly what it
says people are forgiven.
That I had heard during Ramadan, and I was like, it didn't fully.
People are forgiven.
Okay.
So Allah is a month of forgiveness, basically. Allah forgives a lot of people in Ramadan. Say demons are chained, right? So it's easier for someone to worship Allah because he's getting less like whispers from the demon, right? But to release is like would mean what you said, that they're already there and they let go.
I was like, that's not making sense.
Yes. I think a good principle to have is when you hear something from someone, ask him for the narration or the source of where he's bringing his information from. That's what I think you should do, right? Because the minute you do that, then you actually, if you read the original, you're not going to find confusion there, most of the time.
And then the other one, so I'm obviously a revert and my whole family's Christian, and I came across this verse in the Quran, and I've talked to other Muslims and they say, you have to be Muslim to go to heaven. So
yeah,
I read this verse and I just didn't really
I know the verse.
Know the understanding or the context of it, maybe.
Yeah. So this verse is talking about the people.
Obviously, I want my family to go to heaven.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know.
Too,
Look, I'll tell you one thing. Look, I'm not gonna pretend I know what you're feeling. You understand? Because I've not been in your position. I'm not in your position. But I know one thing is that you would agree with me that you're not better than the prophets of God. I'm not better than the prophets of God. Prophets, yes. Prophet ﷺ had his uncle who was protecting him all his life. I'm sure you know the story. He was trying to make him to become Muslim. He died as a non-Muslim. Nuh alayhi salam, his wife. Lut alayhi salam, his wife. Nuh alayhi salam, his son. Right? So peace be upon all of these messengers. Even though they were the best of people, the most beloved to Allah. Prophet Muhammad is the best of the creation, the best of humankind, not creation, because we don't have anything saying that specifically, right? And you have Ibrahim alayhi salam, the second best, right? Khalilullah. And these people, his father was in the hellfire, right? The father of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam is in the hellfire. It's a narration where the Prophet says, my father and your father is in the fire. Yeah. So if the prophets, their fathers, their uncles, their sons and their wives, they are in the fire, then we should come to an acceptance of that. This could be a reality to any of us. And you don't have to be a non-Muslim to go to the hellfire. Someone can be living his life as a Muslim, and in reality, in his heart, he's not really a Muslim, right? So we might be thinking my brother is a Muslim, but he dies, he's actually not actually a Muslim in reality, and he goes to the fire, right? So this possibility would apply to everyone. Now, when it comes to the verse, this verse is talking about at the time, meaning the people who believed, the Nasara who believed in Jesus at the time of Jesus will have that forgiveness. The people, and you'll find that in all of the books of exegesis, the tafsir, right? So where do you find the answer in the verse? It says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله, who believes in Allah. What's the definition of Allah? One, it's not 3 in 1. Does it have sounds? Does it have and does righteous deeds. Allah mentions two things. So they believe in Allah. We know that the Christians don't believe in Allah.
They do,
and we know that
ascribe partners to it.
But that would not mean it's Allah.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the Trinity is not Allah. We have to be very careful there. So they don't believe in Allah with the definitions of Allah. And the second thing is they don't do the righteous deeds that Allah commanded them to do. In fact, they say you don't have to do anything. You just die for your sins. You go to paradise, right? The righteous deeds is to pray 5 times a day and all of that, right? So this verse would apply to the people who believed in the prophets at the time of the prophets. And it would why do we say that? Because the verse mentions believing in Allah and doing righteous deeds, which does not apply to the people of today, right? And you will find that in the books of exegesis, the books of tafsir, you will find that, right? Make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Let me see. One more.
Okay.
So I live in
any questions you can ask, anything you like. It's okay.
So I live in the U.S. obviously, and it's a Christian country.
You're visiting now?
Yeah, I'm just visiting.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got here today. So I was talking to another Muslim about the meat. Obviously, we have some halal stores. Mostly everything is not halal. Okay. And I've read different fatwas saying, yes, you can eat from people of the book. And then I've read other ones saying, no, if it wasn't slaughtered the correct way, you cannot.
Okay, yeah.
And so
I know what you're talking about. It's a good question because this is a big problem that I think is widespread today in the society. That there are a lot of people who give this kind of fatwa. They say, go and eat from the people people of the book. Can I eat in McDonald's? Yeah, they are from the people of the book, right? And this is absolute nonsense for many reasons. Okay, obviously there was a fatwa in the past in which at that time there was most of the people were Christian in that community and that country, and these people were slaughtering actually in the Islamic way. So in the past that fatwa had a time in which it was applied, but today why is it an issue? For two main reasons. The first main reason is that the people in this country are no longer Christian anyways. Go to they're majority atheists. Do you agree with me, right? So if you look at this country from 2001 to 2011, from 72% Christian to 52. If you check from 2011 to today, it's even much more people leaving Christianity. Majority of the people today are either secular or from other religions, etc. Right? So if the majority of the people are not Christian, you cannot say this is the Christian country or eating from Christian meat or this or that.
A title they try to use.
The second thing, which is even the biggest problem, even if everyone in this country was Christians, they do not slaughter the meat, they electrocute the meat. And electrocuting the meat is haram by consensus of all Muslims, right? Allah mentions that in the Quran, chapter 5, verse 3. So even if they were Christian, they're not slaughtering in the way which the people of the book would do, right? On the other hand, I'll say something important. The kosher shops, you can eat there, because the koshers, they slaughter in a halal kosher way, basically, right?
Okay.
So the koshers, the Jews, and if you go to like Golders Green or some areas here in the UK, you would have kosher stores in which you can eat, basically, right? Because they are slaughtering the meat properly. They're not electrocuting the meat and killing the meat in that way, right? So, but it's a good question because it's a common problem that I see people doing. Jazakallah khair.
And then my last question. So about the fatwas, how does a regular layman person like me go about? Should I just not look into any of them?
Okay. No, I think what you should do is to find someone in your community that is well trusted, like you trust his knowledge, you trust his manners, he appears from the outward, because anyone can appear to be good, but Allah knows that, you know. So he appears to be a good person and that he's not a controversial person. I'll say that's a very key thing. You'll find a lot of individuals today on social media very controversial. Either people refuting them, they're refuting other people.
Yes.
So you see all of this nonsense, right?
Yes.
It's horrible nonsense.
And it just cancels everything out that they've said.
Absolutely,
It's like,
absolutely. So I would advise to follow. I would advise. Assalamu alaikum. See you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. See you. Assalamu alaikum. So I'd advise to follow someone who's not controversial. You trust his religion, you trust his manners, and then you take knowledge from him. If he says something to you that seems very absurd, then the advice is to go ask someone else with the same characteristics, just to clarify and to be sure, right? So we're not saying blind follow that individual in everything, but we're saying if you don't do that, then you'll be picking and choosing, going to the people you like and following your desire,
and
picking what you like.
I feel like sometimes I do. I'm like, oh,
and that's
this
a big
one fits
issue.
Me better.
Yeah.
This fits me better.
So now we'll be following our desires, you know.
It's not.
Absolutely.
Doing that alone is not right.
Absolutely. That's why people take this fatwa you mentioned about the meat for conveniency reasons. Exactly. Okay, X said it, I'm going to do it. I don't care, it's easy. I can go to McDonald's and Burger King and eat whatever I want to eat, right? It makes things easier for me. But we should be following what the Quran and Sunnah teach, right? And what the correct opinions teach, not what we like and what we don't like, right? So if you give me a phone, I'll give you a few people on social media that are good to listen to, right? And I don't know if you're able to. Sorry? What to YouTube? If you go on YouTube, I'm not sure if you'll be able to necessarily ask them directly, but you know, my Twitter is there. You can DM me on Twitter. But it's better to find someone in your community.
Yeah, I live in a really small town. We only have like probably 40 Muslims in our
40 Muslims.
Yeah.
Really?
Like
That's.
during Ramadan there was.
So how did you hear about Islam? Social media?
I actually
him on YouTube, yeah.
met a guy on social media that lives in Crowley. I met him like 10 years ago. And we were friends online, and I asked him about it, and I heard a bunch of Arabic terms in rap music that I was listening to. And I had already left Christianity. I was atheist for like 10 years, and I kept hearing all these things.
I'll give you the channel so you don't forget. Don't worry though, it's okay. We lose the trade of thought
hearing all
sometimes.
these things about Allah and inshallah, and so I asked my friend, I'm like, what is this?
What are you talking about,
I didn't know anything about Islam. All I knew was, you know, the news. I live in California, like we.
I understand.
Very little knowledge of it. And he basically told me, you know, it's the truth. You know, you need to look into it.
Let me search it up for you.
And then I never really looked into it anymore after that. But then some years later, I just fell into into like a depression and was needing something, and I bought a Quran and I was reading it, and it just was talking to me so much, you know. And so I found a masjid. This masjid literally like 5 minutes from my house, like a walk to. And I called the imam. I was like, "Can I come in sometime? Like, I don't know how this works. What day? Any of this? What's the dress code?" He was like, "Yeah, come in."
Were they very welcoming for you and things like that?
Yeah, they were very nice. They were very nice.
Alhamdulillah.
And I went in and I sat for one Jum'ah, and then I called him. I was like, "I'm ready to take my shahada.
Alhamdulillah.
Let's do this."
You know, wallahi, look, what you're saying is very important, because look, people in the society, they know. If they don't know, they will find out at some point in their life that materialism is not going to give you contentment and peace.
Yes.
And I think people found out the most in the period of the lockdown, because in the lockdown people were taken away from worldly distractions.
Yes.
It's no longer distractions.
It was perfect for me because I had all this free time
Absolutely.
to actually look into it. I wasn't working for like it just worked out so perfectly.
Absolutely. So most people will be like, why am I here? The existential questions will start coming up when you're no longer distracted with the world. The fitrah is going to overcome your position, you know. So then it's either someone will turn into depression, not knowing what's going on, and materialism is going to or Allah will guide him to the truth if he's a sincere person seeking the truth, you know. So alhamdulillah, may Allah Azza wa Jal keep you in the truth. So you don't have a YouTube account on this, because I tried to subscribe.
It's probably because I'm not on my own. I'm just gonna screenshot that.
Yeah, screenshot. I'll give you another one. You can screenshot both of them.
My service has been so weird because I have a different SIM card because I'm in a different country, obviously. Everything's not working.
This one as well. Just screenshot these
I love
two.
this dude.
Yeah, you like him, yeah? He's a very good brother, mashallah. May Allah reward him. So yeah, these two. Let me give you one more thing. But this person here that I'm going to give you, he might have an issue with this idea of the fatwa regarding the meat, yeah? But generally, he's a very good,
Very knowledgeable.
he's a very good person to get. Why? He's
I've watched
you know
so
him,
many
right?
of his
Yeah.
videos.
So these are good people.
How
So
to pray video.
especially, look, his videos, I'll tell you something important. His videos are all fatawa, right? So he just give answers to, if you search your question and put his name,
I'm sure he's probably
most likely he's answered it, right?
Yeah,
But the meat thing, he's got an issue in it, right? Because I did watch him talk about it. Because he takes from those scholars that I told you were in a specific time in which it was okay for people, because most of the people were Christians, they were not electrocuting the meat as they are doing today. So he took from them, but this is not correct because the situation has changed today. Yes, absolutely. So I think most of the questions you will find answers for them here. And if you don't, maybe you can, you find someone in your community, that imam in the mosque that you went to, maybe he's a good person, you can ask him. Perhaps, maybe, something like that, inshallah.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
No, you don't have to. Wallahi, Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you, akhi, and accept for you. Jazakallah khair.
Muslims never want to take any money, man.
Jazakallah khair.
They won't even go in there.
Jazakallah khair.
I watch your videos and I really enjoy them.
Barakallah feek. May Allah Azza wa Jal make dua for me, you know. Make dua for me, inshallah. Barakallah feek. See you, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
قال يا عشيرتي جميعكم حتى ابنتي لا أغني عنكم فاعبدوا إلهكم ووحدوا.
إذا أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والتعليق، ولكي يصلك كل جديد اشترك الآن.